Good evening. Okay, let's all right. Okay. Hey, good morning, grade 5 students. So welcome again to science class. I am teacher Lai and I am your teacher for today. So let us start our day with our prayers. So may I request everyone to bow down their head and feel the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We thank you for the gift of life today.
Amen. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So now let me remind you again my online class etiquette. So O stands for observe respect at all times. This is very important. And never unmute microphone unless told so that you cannot disturb the discussion. L. Limit the use of chat box to topics not related to the class discussion, meaning to say you are not allowed to chat unnecessary messages on the chat box. I. Intently listen when somebody is talking, regardless if it is your teacher or your classmate. If somebody is talking, you need to listen. And nonverbal cues could be used if you would like to speak. You may raise your hand or you may click raising hand reaction button so that I can recognize your name. Do not answer in chorus. E. Engage and actively participate to the activities, exercises, and discussion. So what I have said, you may raise your hand or click the raising hand reaction button so that I can recognize your name. The moment I can recognize your name or call your name, that's the time you will answer. Or you may type your answer in the chat box because everything what you have put there is considered as an oral participation. And in addition to that, as much as possible, I want everyone to open their camera so that I can assure that you are actively listening to me. So, am I making myself clear? Are you ready for our discussion? Okay, let's start. So now, to energize yourself, let us sing. Since it's Bear Month and Christmas Day is fast approaching, I have here a Science Time Again song. And the tone of the lyrics is Jingle Bell. Are you excited for Christmas Day? Yes, so am I. So I want everybody's cooperation and together let's sing this song. Ready for the song in 1 or 2 or 3. Dance it properly. Science is ready. Soon are you new. All you have to do, listen to your teacher to learn something new. More activities. I like it. Okay, thank you for that. So let's give ourselves 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The spirit I really wanted. Okay. So now let us recall what Teacher Marge discussed last meeting. Anyone? Yes, Teacher Marge discussed about design a product made out of local, recyclable, liquid or solid materials and the making of useful products. So in connection to that, I have here a short activity just to refresh your mind. I have here a list of waste materials, and then you tell me what are the possible uses of the mentioned materials. I know you have your creative imaginations, creative ideas. I want you to tell me, okay? So now, number 1, frame of a worn umbrella. Anyone? Okay, very good. So a frame of one umbrella also can be used as a Christmas tree. So since Christmas is very fast approaching, so the frame of a one umbrella could be used as a Christmas tree. So you just put a decoration and a Christmas lights, and then you have your own Christmas tree. The second one is the old pot holder. So do you have any idea what are the possible uses of this old pot holder? So if you have, can you share it with me or with us? Yes, that's a very good idea. So the old pot holder as well can be used as a gardening glove. So if di na magamit, no, you can use it in gardening. So if you want to uh pick a sand, no, or you want to plant or whatever flowers do you want, you may do so by the use of this old pot holder. Again, in a metal bottle cups. Do you have any idea? Yes, the metal bottle cups as well could be used in a chimneys. So when the COVID, wala pang COVID, can be used in ganito mga rolling. Yes. But now we are restricted to go outside, so it can be used, the metal bottle cups could be used as chimneys. Right. Another is the old newspaper. So this is very common, no? Yes, so the old newspaper can be used a paper basket made out of paper or newspaper and a frame. So with this, you can save your money and it can also enhance your creativity. Then here, the water used to rinse clothes. What do you think are the possible uses of these materials, of these waste materials? Yes, the water used to rinse clothes could be used to water the plants, no? So or you can use it to clean your comfort room. So with this, you can conserve the water consumption. How about the glass bottles? Yes, the glass bottles could be used as decoration. So you just don't limit yourself in designing. If you want to paint it, you may do so. So here, as you can see here, the different design. So anything what you want, no? With this, it can enhance your creativity and develop your skills. Imagine that. How about the pet bottles, the detergent bottles? Do you have any idea? Yes, the pet bottles can also use on the planters, no? As you can see in the picture. How about the tarpaulin sheet? The tarpaulin sheet can be used as apron or day bag. So I believe gamay na ang malls nga ni-practice of plastic bags. But here in Mandaue, we are not using a plastic bag na good. Eco bag, oh yes, eco bag. So this is very useful jud nowadays. The tarpaulin bag. How about the Tetra Pak juice container? Yes, the Tetra Pak juice container can be also used as the pen holder, the scissor holder, and you just design it. No, your dili na mo need mo ato sa mall, samot nagkuyaw kayo, you just design it and magamit na gud siya. It's a matter of creativity and your design. And the last one is the cardboard boxes. Do you have any idea what are the possible uses of cardboard boxes? Yes, the cardboard boxes. In addition to that, thank you for your idea. The cardboard boxes can also used in DIY desk organizer where you can put your art stuff or a shoe rack, no, a triangular shoe rack. Or a organizer, your dress organizer where you can put your clothes there. So the cardboard boxes are many uses and this is very, very durable. So with this is what we call recycling. Recycling is a process of recycling the old materials to create new ones. So what you have done is a recycling. You recycle the old materials by reusing it, by designing it, rather than throwing it away. And that is a very, very good attitude because human, we are not above the nature. We are part of the nature. As a part of the nature, we should also take our responsibility seriously by not granted by not abusing the planet. Okay, because later on, if atong i-abuse, kita rihapoy madao. So, are you agree with me? Yes. Thank you. So now, moving forward, let's have a game. This game called 4GIF, one word. So this is the same mechanics with 4 picks, one word. But teacher Lai will not going to present you a picture, but rather I am presenting you a moving pictures or GIFs. And then you are tasked to guess what those GIF all about in just one word. Okay, so if you have an answer, again, raise your hand or you may click the raising hand reaction button or you may type your answer rather in the chat box so that I can recognize your name or anything what you have put there in the chat box is credited as an oral participation. Meaning to say, naagit siya points. So that is why I am encouraging everyone to participate in any discussions that we have. So let's start. The set number 1. Wow. So you can see here a chick with his parent chicken, a pig, a cutie dog, and a tiger. I have here a clue. It starts with letter A and ends with letter S. Okay, very good. It is animals. Okay, these 4 are animals. How about this one? The second letter is letter L and it ends with letter S. Very good. It is plants. How about this one? So you can see here, there's a baby carried by his mom, a dad together with his children, a cutie baby, and a family, and happy family. It starts with letter H, the fourth letter is letter A, and ends with letter S. Very good, nice one. This is humans. Okay, very good, thank you. So let's have a share it session. So what words did you come up with based on our game? Yes, thank you. That is an animals, a plants, and a human. So can these living things such as animals, plants, and humans reproduce? Why do you say so? Yes, since animals, plants, and humans are living things, and living things means they possesses life. They are able to reproduce, they can grow, they move. So that is why these three can reproduce. So what do you call the human system that is responsible for reproducing? I repeat, what do you call the human system that is responsible for reproducing? Nice one. This is the human reproductive system. So let's give ourselves 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very good. I love that energy. Moving forward. Sorry. Moving forward. So here. This is the human reproductive system. So do you know that a human have 12 human system, and one of which is what we call the human reproductive system. For male, we can call it the male reproductive system, and for female, of course, the female reproductive system. So these systems can usually seen at the lower part of our body. So here, did you know him? Yes, this is Olaf in the Disney movie called Frozen. So Olaf wanted to challenge you all. He said that you did well. But now, let's see if you can pass my name a challenge quiz. Will you put Olaf's mind at ease by showing him that you can pass his challenge? Can you take the challenge or leave the challenge? Wow, I love that energy. So take the challenge. So for the procedure for this game is that study the illustration. Later on, I will be showing to you the illustration. And then I want you to label the parts of male and female reproductive system. But before labeling the parts, the teacher will define the parts and you will label them. So teacher Lai will give a short description about the parts, and then you are tasked to guess what the part that I am referring to. Okay, if you have an answer, raise your hand or click the raising hand reaction button, or you may just simply type your answer in the chat box because it is counted as an oral participation. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, so let's start. So here, so this is the illustration. I want you to take a look closely. Study the illustration. So let's start. So name a challenge. This is a challenge from Olaf. And before we'll start, we'll hear your cheering squad. Okay, you can do it. Yes, we can do it. So here, what do you call this part? This is where the sperm cell and the male sex hormones form and produce. Very good. This is the testes. How about this one? This is where the testes wrapped. It serves as the protector of the testes because it controls the testes temperature. Very good. This is scrotum. Okay, scrotum. Okay, repeat after me, scrotum. Okay. How about this one? This is like the storage area of the sperm cell. Because the moment the sperm cell released in the testes, it is eventually goes to this area and wait until it mature. What do you call this part? Very good. Epididymis. Okay, this part is what we called the epididymis. If this is the epididymis, so what do you call this part? This is what commonly called as the carrying away vessel. It serves as the passageway of the sperm cell from testes down to urethra. What do you call this one? Yes, it is the vas deferens. How about this one? It gives 70% sugar-rich fluid, or what we call the fructose, to provide energy to the sperm cell to move quickly throughout its journey. Very good. This is what we call seminal vesicle. Again, repeat after me. Seminal vesicle. Okay, very good. So if this is seminal vesicle, what do you call this one? To this part, it's responsible. It's just to discharge the sperm cell from the seminal vesicle. Yes, ejaculatory gland from the root word ejaculate. So done with the ejaculatory gland. So about this one, what do you call this part? It gives another fluid to the sperm cell to nourish and to protect the sperm. Yes, it's the prostate gland. Done with the prostate gland, and let's move on to this part. What do you call this part? Again, this give or secrete another fluid to flourish the materials in the urethra, the foreign materials in the urethra. It's what we call the bulbourethral gland. Again, bulbourethral gland. Okay, very good. So what this one? This serves as the passageway of both urine from the urinary bladder and the semen from the glands. Yes, it is what we call the urethra. This is the last one. This is the male external organ with a tip called glands. Okay, this is where the semen and the urine coming out. Of course, this is what we call the penis. So you're very good. You did it well. Good job. So see, Olaf is sharing you. So that means you did a good job. So now, oh, look at Elsa. Elsa said, are you all ready? Meaning to say, di pa din mao ang challenge. So napatay laing challenge. Are you ready for next challenge? Yes. So our next challenge is this. This is the female reproductive system. So same the mechanics. So I will be describing the parts and then you are tasked to label it. If you have an answer, you may raise your hand. Wait for me to call your name before you answer. Do not answer in chorus, or you may type your answer in the chat box. Okay? Start. What do you call this one? This is where the egg cell and the female sex hormones form. Yes, this is the ovary. If kanis lang duha, ovaries. Since the arrow pointed sa usa, ovary. How about this one? This is a site of fertilization. This is where the sperm cell and the egg cell unite. Very good. This is the fallopian tube. How about this one? This is also called as the womb. This is where the baby develop and nourish. Yes, it is the uterus. But this one, this is also called as the uterine lining. It will thicker as it accumulates blood or igpapanganak. Yes, it is the uterine lining. This is the yellow one, the yellow part, uterine lining. How about this one? This is also called as the neck of the uterus. So it will expand if the baby will pass here in this area. It is what we call the cervix. If this is the cervix, and what do you call this part? This is where the baby comes out during the normal delivery. This is the last journey of the baby. Okay, it is what we call the vagina. So the female reproductive system have only 6 major parts. Again, the ovary, the fallopian tube, the uterus, the cervix, the uterine lining, and the vagina. Okay, very good. So now I want you to test your knowledge. Okay, base our game. So in the human reproductive system, for male or female, choose one of the parts and I want you to describe it. Okay, you can freely choose it is part of the male or female and I want you to describe it. Okay, give me one. Okay, thank you. So I guess you really listening and you really studying about our lesson for today. And I guess you can really answer my activity, okay? So now, okay, good job. So let's give ourselves good job claps. And good job claps goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, good job. Again, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, good job. Okay, good job. So now, it is not enough just to label the parts or describe the parts. And now we will be talking about what are the functions that we have discussed earlier. So what we have, the function of the male reproductive system and its part, and as well as what are the function of the female reproductive system and its part. So are you ready for our journey? Okay, let's start. So the male reproductive system, it is specifically responsible for producing sperm and hormones. Sperm cell is needed to fertilize an egg cell. Hormones are responsible for development of adult characteristics. So when you say sperm cell, it is the male reproductive cell. Did you know that a male can produce numerous sperm cells? An average man can have 5 million in a single drop of semen. Wow! Out of these million of sperm cells, only one is needed to fertilize an egg cell. Out of the dynamic number of sperm cells, only one sperm can able to fertilize. Murashag, the last man standing. So this is the graphical representation of the sperm cell. So we have here a head and also a tail. So the tail will help the sperm cell to move throughout his journey. On the other hand, the male sex hormones is what we call the testosterone. Okay, again, testosterone. Okay, thank you. So the testosterone will help brings on the physical changes that turn a boy into man. This time of life is called the puberty, meaning to say the hormones coming from the pituitary gland greatly affect the physical transformation of a boy. So can you tell me what are those physical changes that we have seen or observed during the puberty stage of a male? Yes? Okay, so the changes includes the growth of penis and testes, the growth of facial, pubic, and body hair, the deepening of voice because of the occurrence of the Adam's apple, the building muscles and the strong bones, and the getting taller. So these changes because of the testosterone. So this is the front view and the side view of the male reproductive system. So now, so let's start with this part. So this part is what we called again the testes. So how would you describe testes? Yes, that is a very good observation, no? So these two like eggs or a ball is what we call the testes or the testicles. So the testes or the singular testes are the glands that produce the sperm cell and the male sex hormone. So what I have discussed earlier, that this is the where the male sex hormones, which is the testosterone, and the sperm cell are formed and produced. The testes consist of clusters of tiny coiled tube where the sperm cell and the male sex hormones are formed. So means that the testes kunot-kunot siya, okay? Ang texture sa testes are kunot-kunot, clusters of tiny coiled tube. So we're done in the testes, so let's move forward to scrotum. How can you describe scrotum then? Yes. So the scrotum is a pair of pouch-like sacs that contains the testes. It is also controls the testes temperature because they must be slightly cooler than the body temperature to produce a sperm cell. A pair of pouch-like lalagyan. So inside the lalagyan is the testes. So here in the scrotum, this is where the testes are wrapped. Scrotum serve as the protector of the sperm cell. It controls the testes temperature because the testes temperature must be below the human body temperature, which is the 37 degrees Celsius. What is the reason behind ganong dapat mas cooler man si testes sa atong body temperature? Do you have any idea? Yes, because our human body temperature will really affect the production of the sperm cell. Meaning to say, kung init ra sa ang atong lawas, mapektuhan sa sperm cell. If init ra, mamatay sa sperm cell, o dili ka pakaproduce testes ni sperm cell. So meaning to say, walay production nga ma-happen. So again, scrotum is another external part of the male. So we can see the scrotum for male. We can touch the scrotum, that is the wrinkled area, mga kunot-kunot nga area in your lower part, same itlog. And for girls, again, we don't have the scrotum, so di ta makakita ninyo, isa ta makahikap. But if you are wondering what is the texture of the scrotum, so you just bend your arm. Yes, so kabantay mo ring nga part. Oh, yes, diri. Oh, touch it. Try to touch it. Yes. Ang sa iyong observe. Kunot-kunot. Yes. So that is the texture of the scrotum. You have the idea na ha. So next is what we call the epididymis. How would you describe epididymis? Yes, the epididymis is a narrow coiled tube that stores the sperm cells. So the epididymis is like the refrigerator. It's the storage area of the sperm cell because once the sperm cell are formed in the testes, it is eventually goes to the epididymis, and in the epididymis, the sperm cell will wait until it matures. Ara na sila hangtod ma-mature ang sperm cell. So another part is this, the vas deferens. So how would you describe the vas deferens? Yes, precisely. So the vas deferens is commonly called as the carrying away vessels. It is a long, muscular tube that serves as the passageway of the sperm cell released from the testes. It is also connects the testes to the seminal vesicles and down to the urethra. So as you can observe in the pictures, the vas deferens rather is like a headset, no? So this long muscular tube. This is a passageway of the sperm cell from the testes. This is served as the bridge of the testes through his journey. Another is done with the vas deferens. So let's proceed to this one. Again, this is what we call the seminal vesicle. So how would you describe seminal vesicle? So what can you say about the seminal vesicle? Very good. So the seminal vesicle is a sac-like pouches attached to the vas deferens. So this is the vas deferens. Remember, it is a long muscular tube. So the seminal vesicle is attached to the vas deferens. So this is the seminal vesicle. So the seminal vesicle will contribute the semen production, a sugar-rich fluid which provides energy for the sperm cell's motility. So the seminal vesicle will give 70% sugar-rich fluid, or what we call the fructose, to provide energy to the sperm cell to move throughout his journey. Done with the seminal vesicle, and let's move to ejaculatory gland. So what can you say about ejaculatory gland? Yes. So ejaculatory gland, from the root word ejaculate, it just expels the sperm cell and the secretion from the seminal vesicle into the urethra. The ejaculatory gland is just responsible for discharging the sperm cell nga gikan ni seminal vesicles and down to the urethra. But before the sperm cell will go through the urethra, he will go first to this part. What do you call this part again? Yes, this is the prostate gland. So what can you say about the prostate gland? Yes, the prostate gland, it is a walnut-sized gland located between the bladder and the penis. It is between the bladder, this is the bladder, and this is the penis. So the prostate gland is between, it is the center. It secretes fluid to nourish and protect the sperm. So again, the seminal vesicle will give fluid, a 70% sugar-rich fluid. And the prostate gland again will secrete another fluid to the sperm cell so that it will nourish and protect the sperm. Imagine that there are many glands will give the sperm cell a fluid, right? So done with the prostate gland, and let's move to, what do you call this part? Very good. This is the bulbourethral gland. So what can you say about the bulbourethral gland? May I hear from you? Yes, the bulbourethral gland, also known as the Cowper's gland, is one of the two pea-sized organs found beneath the prostate gland. It is responsible for releasing fluid that flushes out foreign matters and neutralizes the acidic urine in the urethra. The bulbourethral gland will give another fluid. So this fluid will flushes out the foreign matters that will block the pathway of the sperm cell, because the moment the boys or the male mahuman silang ihi, napanay mga gagmay nga foreign materials nga mabilin sa urethra. Have you experienced drinking a soft drinks with the use of straw? Yes, I believe kita tanan. So what can you observe sa straw after drinking the soda or the soft drinks? Yes, there is a small debris na pay tubig-tubig. So that is the mao ni ang noun sa urethra after urinating sa boys. That is why the bulbourethral gland has its special function. It provides, or it releases fluid para mulimpyo sa agianan ni sperm cell. So have you observed that the bulbourethral gland, the seminal vesicle, and prostate gland are releasing fluid? Yes, their main function is just to release fluid to the sperm cell, and that is why they are called the accessories gland. They are called accessories gland because their function is just to give fluid to the sperm cell. That is why si sperm cell expel ana sa penis, grabe na siya kaputi because daghang fluid ang naa niya. First, nihatag si seminal vesicle, nihatag si prostate gland, plus nihatag pag si bulbourethral gland. So, can you imagine that? That is why puti kay na si sperm cell nga mahimo na siyang semen later on. We are done now with bulbourethral gland, and this is what we called the urethra. How can you describe urethra? Yes, urethra is semen passes out of the body through the urethra. It is that 8 to 10 inches long muscular tube. Urethra is 8 to 10 inches muscular tube. And the urethra in males is the passageway of both urine from the urinary bladder and the semen from the glands. Now, I am using now the word semen because the moment ang sperm cell mabutngan og fluid, they will now form a semen. Dili na siya mahimong sperm cell ra. Dili siya mo stagnant as sperm cell because if na siya fluid, mahimo na siyang semen. That is why I am now using the term semen rather than sperm cell. And the last part is this. It is the penis. So the penis is the male external organs with a tip called glands. This is the glands. So for boys, once you were young, once you are tuli, so this gland is covered with a skin. So if the skin was removed, of course, the glands will come out. So the removal of the skin is what we call circumcision or pagtutuli. So the function of penis is to deliver the semen into the vagina during sexual intercourse, and it allows the excretion of urine through the urethra to the outside of the body. Okay. So let's review. So the male reproductive system is made of several organs, and these are testes, scrotum, epididymis, vas deferens, the seminal vesicle, yes, the ejaculatory gland, the prostate gland, the bulbourethral gland, the urethra, and last is the penis. So are you ready now for our next journey? So let's go. And before jumping to our next journey, let's have a icebreaker first, no? Para di sa tamo board. Itaas kita journey nga gadtuan. So when I say pop, you stand up. And when I say corn, you sit down, okay? Pop, pop, corn, corn, popcorn, popcorn, pop, pop, corn, corn, popcorn, popcorn, popcorn. Okay, very good. So give ourselves a round of applause. So stand, okay, you may sit down. Okay, thank you for that. At least na-energize mo, no? So now let's move to the female reproductive system. So the female reproductive system, it is specifically responsible for producing egg cell and supporting a developing baby inside a mother's womb. Egg cell. Egg cell is a female reproductive cell. If the male reproductive cell is what we call the sperm cell, the female is what we call the egg cell. This is the biggest cell in the female human body. The cell is only 1/10 of a millimeter. Yes, it is about the size of the diameter of a hair strand. So, for your information, the egg cell is not like the sperm cell, no? The egg cell has no the ability to move. That is why if si sperm cell meet siya mismo ang module na egg cell, then what do you think will happen? Fertilization occurs, meaning to say egg cell and the sperm cell unite. The moment fertilization occurs, a new life has begun. So now this is the female reproductive system, and now we will be talking about what are the function of the parts of the female reproductive system. So here, what do you call this part? Yes, this is the ovary. Okay. What do you think, or what can you describe about the ovary? Thank you, correct. So the ovary are the small oval-shaped glands that are located either the side of the uterus. So the ovaries produce the eggs and the female hormones called the progesterone and estrogen. So basically, ovary is just the counterpart of the testes in male. So if in the testes, that is where the male sex hormones and the sperm cell produce, but here in the ovary, this is where the egg cell and the female sex hormones form. So in the ovaries, when a female was born, about 70,000 egg cells are already present in her ovaries. However, 500 egg cells will mature. What happened to these mature eggs? So the mature eggs are released one by one every month once a female reaches puberty or teenagers. Muna, every month for girls, when you reach your puberty, na dugon juta every month. Okay. So take note, there are some exemption. So the releasing of egg cell will slow down or stop when the female is about 43 to 55 years old. So have you heard the word menopause? Yes. So menopause are those female nga wa na sila duga or dili na consistent ilang dugo because slow down naman ang pag-release ilang eggs. And that is very normal for girls. Moving on, so what do you call this part then? Yes, this is the fallopian tube. So how can you describe fallopian tube? Yes, fallopian tube are also known as the uterine tubes. Fallopian tube is also the usual site of fertilization where the egg cell and the sperm cell unite. Females have two fallopian tubes, each connecting to an ovary to the side of the uterus. Since we have two ovaries for female, meaning to say we have also two ovaries connecting to it. Site of the fertilization. So this is where the egg cell and the sperm cell unite. If the sperm cell are here in the fallopian tube, ug na-timingan siya nga naa sa sperm cell, again, fertilization happens. So earlier, I have discussed what is fertilization, and fertilization means a new life has begun. It is like the meeting place of the sperm cell and the egg cell. So this is, and then this is what we call the uterus. So the uterus is also called as the womb. Okay, it is a hollow muscular organ that is shaped like an inverted P. If you have an inverted P, if you manang balihon, that is the shape of the uterus. The uterus receives a fertilized egg and protects the baby. It is the part of the female reproductive system in which a baby grows. It is above the vagina. It is about 7 cm long and 5 centimeters across the widest point. So here, again, here in the fallopian tube, this is where the sperm cell and the the egg cell and the sperm cell unite. So the fertilized egg, muarish ni siya ni uterus, i-receive ni uterus, and then This is also where the baby nourish and develop. This is above the vagina. So this is the vagina. So this is the uterus above the vagina. So in terms of the size of the uterus, it is the 7 centimeter long and 5 centimeter across the widest point. In addition, in the uterus is where the fertilized egg is implanted. Again, this is where the fertilized egg and implant will develop as a baby. But if the egg cell is not fertilized, it will break together with the uterine lining, or what we call the endometrium, and it will break down and discharge as a menstruation. So there are two cases. So first, if the fertilized egg is implanted, it will nourish in the uterus and it will grow as a baby. The second case, if the egg cell is not fertilized, so that unfertilized egg cell will break together in the uterine lining. So here the uterine lining is the yellow part, and then it will break together as a menstruation. So here, the uterine lining. So again, the uterine lining is what we call the endometrium. It is a soft, smooth inner lining, so the yellow part. So it also accumulates blood and nutrients or be ready for the unborn baby as it develops. So if during our menstruation, this uterine lining will thick, and if the padung na ma-develop ang baby, ma-thick po ni siya ang uterine lining. So we are done with uterine lining. So moving forward to this part. What we call this part is what we call the cervix. The cervix is a narrow opening between the uterus and the vagina. That is why cervix is also called as the neck of the uterus. So during childbirth, it expands to allow the passage of the baby. So expansive cervix. The last one is what we call the vagina. The vagina is a hollow muscular tube that extends from the cervix to the vaginal opening called vulva. So this is the vulva, the vaginal opening. The vagina will expand to let the baby pass during normal delivery. Okay. Okay, this is the vagina. Now, again, it's review time. So the female reproductive systems are made up of several organs, in which includes the ovaries. This is where the egg cell and the female sex hormones form. The fallopian tube. This is the site of fertilization. The uterus, also called as the womb. This is where the baby nourished and developed. The uterine lining, it is also called as the endometrium. It will take as it accumulates blood and nutrients or be ready for unborn baby to pass through. The cervix. The cervix or the neck of the uterus. And lastly, the vagina. So the vagina, it will expand as the baby will pass through during the normal delivery. So to give you more details how the male reproductive system works, I want you to observe the video carefully.
So in this video, let us learn about the male reproductive system. To begin with, we take a look at the location where the sperms are exactly produced. These oval-shaped structures on either side are the ones we are referring to. The single structure is called testis, while the pair is called testes, or simply a pair of testicles. Now these are an important part of the system and need to be protected, right? So we have a covering of skin over it. This forms a bag-like structure, and do we have a name for it? Yes, the bag-like structure is called the scrotum. So the scrotum is the pouch which contains the testis. Now the sperms produced will have to travel in order to reach the female body. So who will make sure that the sperms are carried outside the testes? This responsibility is taken up by the mass of coils that we can see here. This is called the epididymis and the pair is called the epididymides. The mass then carries the sperms to this single connecting long coil. This is called the vas deferens. Where will the deferens carry it further? Directly outside the body? No, they will carry it into something called as the ejaculatory ducts. But where does the ejaculatory duct head to? It heads to a destination where the sperms get mixed with a nourishing fluid. Wait a second, what kind of fluid are we referring to? And why is it needed here? Basically, the sperms need nourishment to survive. Also, they need to be protected from acidic conditions coming their way. Hence, various glands come to the rescue by secreting a few important secretions. The first one is the seminal vesicle. It secretes a fluid that helps in nourishing the sperms. Can you see this bulb-like structure here? It is the prostate gland which helps in secreting the prostate fluid. Now the sperms floating in the fluids reach the urethra from where they can be released outside the body. But wait, all the secretions are not yet completed. This P-shaped gland found here gives another important secretion. It is called the Cooper's gland or even the bulbourethral gland. Now with this secretion, the formation of semen is complete. The semen is simply the fluid carrying the sperms. It is carried out by the urethra which runs through the penis. Now these sperms will reach the female reproductive system and only one among all will be able to carry out the fertilization of the ovum.
So do you have any questions? So that is all about how the system works, the male reproductive system works, and what are the function, how the parts of the male reproductive system do their responsibility. Moving on, let's take a look the journey of the egg cell. So I want everyone to observe carefully to the video and listen, okay?
Use the egg cells. These egg cells will be transported to the fallopian tube. Also, this is where fertilization by a sperm may occur. The egg will then move to the uterus, where the uterine lining has thickened in response to the normal hormones of the reproductive cycle. If the egg cell is not fertilized, the egg cell in the uterine lining will break down and is discharged during menstruation. But if the egg is fertilized by sperm, the fertilized egg can implant into thickened uterine lining and continue to develop until become a baby. However, even the egg cell is fertilized but implanting does not take place, the uterine lining will shed as menstrual flow together with the egg cell. During menopause, the female gradually stops making the female hormones, which is necessary for the reproduction cycle to work. During this period, menstruation or menstrual cycle can become irregular and eventually stop.
So that's it. That is how the journey of the egg cell. So do you have any questions, clarifications? If not, okay, I have here, let's do a thinking time. So it's very important to think, no? So what do you think is the function of reproductive system based on a video and illustrations presented? Again, what do you think is the function of reproductive system based on a video and illustrations presented? Okay, so We all know that reproduction is the process by which organisms produce more of its kind. Reproduction is an important part of our life of all living things because it ensures the continuity of life. Indeed, reproduction is very essential because through reproduction, it really ensures the continuity of life of all creatures. And then, wait. Okay. So the human, the animals and plants are all living things and therefore they can reproduce. So we have now here the functions of male reproductive system. There are three main functions. The first, to produce, maintain, and transport the sperm and the protective fluid, which is the semen, to the vagina of whales during the sexual intercourse. Second, to produce and secrete male sex hormones, which is what we call the testosterone, for maintaining the male reproductive system healthy. And the last one is to discharge the sperm cell within the female reproductive tract during sex or during sexual intercourse. So we are now done in the female reproductive system, and let's move on to what are the functions of a male reproductive systems as a whole. So we have only two main functions. The first, to produce egg cell and the female sex hormones called estrogen and progesterone. The second, it simply allowed the baby to develop and nourish inside the mother's womb. Therefore, the biggest functional and important distinction or difference between the male and the female reproductive system is that the male reproductive system is exclusively create sperm cell and transport them to the female reproductive system. Okay, so what we have learned on male reproductive system is just to create the sperm and transport the sperm cell to the female reproductive system during sexual intercourse. Okay. For female reproductive systems, on the other hand, are intended to both create and nurture a baby since dito man mag-unite sperm cell o egg cell, dito pod ma-nourish the baby o ma-create. Therefore, the male reproductive system is the most important organ in the body because without them, there will be no living organisms. All living things relies on the system to reproduce and spread their young ones. Living things die for species to survive. They need to reproduce, and without the system, life will simply end. So see, reproductive, we just taken it for granted, our reproductive system, no? So we don't know what is the importance of the reproductive system because without this system, we cannot pass our unique characteristics to one generation to other generation. That is why, as early as now, we must take care of our reproductive system. Okay. So now, before I will proceed to my to-do list for today, do you have any questions, clarifications? Okay, none so far. So I see here. So after a class, kindly take a look at your Google Classroom for your quiz. Upload your answer in the Google Classroom. Okay. Okay. For your assignment, for those who have science and book textbook, answer exercise B, page 59. And for those who don't have textbook, you may answer the exercise from the attached file. After answering, upload your answer to the Google Classroom. So the deadline is this Friday at 5 p.m. So as much as possible, I want everyone to turn in your exercises, your quiz, your activities on time, okay? Not just in my class, but also to the previous teacher, okay? So if you don't have any questions, thank you. If you have some questions later on, no, dumi, you may reach me out or PM in my Facebook account, Eliza Jane Bachinicha Vilandres, in my Gmail, elizabilandres22@gmail.com, or you may call or text me 0923-945-7078, because Teacher Lai at your service. So before we'll end up this class, I am very happy that you are really listening, that you are really participating my class throughout from the first beginning to the last. So you did a very good job today, and you deserve this song.
Good job, good job, good job today. You did a great job today. Clap, 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 sing with me. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye, 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 my friends. You did a great job today. Clap, 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 sing with me. Let's wave our hands goodbye.
Okay, good job, everyone. I want you to top yourself. Top yourself. Okay, good job. You're really a great job today. And goodbye. That's all for today. And thank you for listening. Okay, thank you for listening, everyone. Please don't forget to turn in your exercises, activity, and quiz on time. Okay, this is Teacher Lai, and thank you for joining our journey for today. Bye-bye.